All right. Welcome back
Welcome
to
back.
another episode. We are back. We are back. We are back.
Hold
And I
on.
had to say it 3 times for some reason.
Hold on.
Oh, there you go.
Ah,
You gotta get like some kind of like producer thing, like DJ Khaled or
another one.
another one. There you go.
Another
Oh,
one. I'm
wait,
gonna
wait. Yep. Okay. We gotta save that.
let's save that. Write that down.
Yeah. Put that on a t-shirt.
Put that on a t-shirt. Write that down.
But yeah, we're back for another one. And what's our topic this week?
Cats.
Yes, we are two cat moms. Two cat moms to me to a little lad named Lemmy,
And then
and then
I have two cats.
mhm,
Niall, and then I have a kitten named Sticks.
yeah,
Yep.
a boy and a little gal.
Ah, they're great, but also they're a menace and destroy my house.
Mhm,
Especially Sticks
and they can
because
just like, what about Six? I'm sorry.
because she's a kitten. And maybe it's just also her personality, but she's the worst with things. Like Niall used to be bad and
Mhm,
trying to ruin my furniture and everything. Like
yeah,
he's calmed down. I think he's getting over his terrible twos now that he's gonna be 3 in August.
yeah,
But Sticks
he's
is a
adjusting.
kitten. He's adjusting, but Sticks, no. She's does not care. And she will
She's
destroy
in the
anything in her path. So
she's in the thick of it. She's just like, this
this
is my
is
domain. I'm gonna rule it.
yeah.
uh, Lemmy's in. I think in between. Like sometimes he has like little like bad behaviors here and there, but I think he's like he seems to be like better. Like he doesn't really scratch doors. Like when he scratches our door, it's like very light now.
Yeah.
It's almost
Oh
like a polite
good, good.
scratch.
He's learning.
It's
Only
almost like a
lightly.
polite
Yeah,
scratch.
yeah, polite, polite scratch.
And as far as chewing wires,
Oh, wait.
he doesn't do it, but we've also now taken so many precautions to hide every wire. So I
Yeah.
don't know if given the opportunity, he would just like today he was just randomly. This is just something random that he did that made me laugh. Today I was working from home and he wasn't biting the wire, but I think he was just trying to get my attention. He kept sitting like you know how like when you have a computer charger, it'll have like the long wire and then it'll have like the brick
Yep.
like that. For some reason, he was like just kept sitting on that part of the
Oh, maybe
charger.
because it's really warm. Like it got
Maybe I
heated, so
guess it
it's.
was like it was
But it's
almost like when it was almost like it looked like a chicken like protecting an egg.
yeah. But it's like 80
Like,
something degrees. You would think you'd not want to sit on something like that.
I don't know. He kept doing it, and then he laid on my slipper after I moved the
Oh,
charger away. So I think he just kept trying to get my attention.
yeah,
I was like, I'm
probably.
working, pal. I'm
Yeah.
trying. But
And
yeah,
then you
we're
have
here to
Sticks, who
yeah,
because right now, and maybe everyone's going to disagree, I feel like, but she's 4 months old. She's still so little that I'm like extremely worried that if I open my front door, she's going to get out. And she tried to do that once when I was taking out my groceries or my
mm,
trash, and I was like, ooh. So when I'm not home, I keep her in the bathroom
mhm,
because I'm like, it's not so much that she'll ruin things. I mean, she will anyway.
yeah.
But like, I don't want to accidentally open my front door and then she's just gone. Like
But
Niall's,
that's what I mean.
yeah,
It's like a precaution that you have to take, especially because where you like I've been to your humble abode, and
yes.
you have like steps that go like down. You know what I
Oh
mean? So
yeah,
like
I live
she
on the
like
third
depending on
floor.
how
Yeah.
yeah, depending on like how fast like we're ours. If Lemmy doesn't really dart because I mean he doesn't really he gets pretty like scared if he even
Hmm.
goes like out in the hallway. But we're in an apartment building, so worst case if he gets out, he still has to go down like
Hmm.
a bunch of steps, and then there's a main door. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not like he just runs out the front door and goes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But with
And
you have like the
oh
whole like
yeah,
flights
no,
of
and
steps, and she could just oh
I
dart.
live on the top floor and then you go
Mhm.
down the steps and you're just at the street, like the
Yeah.
parking area. And knowing her and she's fast enough,
Mhm. She is. Yeah.
she will take off. Niall's fat and slow, so like even if he got out, I probably could be fine with catching him.
Like he would lazy on down. He'd
He
be
would
okay.
lay. He has a bit of a pouch. Well, he's not that big. He's 11.3 pounds, which is not
Uh
that
huh.
heavy. But my manager was like, he could lose some weight, like a pound and a half. I was like, okay.
I think it's just because you made him a comfortable home, and he was like, "Oh
Yes.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
finally relax now. Just
And
let it all hang out," you know?
and he does wait by the front door. I don't know if he
Mhm,
does that the entire day, but when I do get home, he's like right at the door when I'm there.
mhm.
And he just kind of just stands there, and then I just stick my foot out, and he's like, "All right," and he moves. So I'm like, I'm not worried about him. But Sticks, she's so little, and they're like, "You keep her in the bathroom all day." I'm like, "You do you want to chase after her if she gets out?" No,
No, but it's
but
a good precaution to take just until you feel confident that she
yeah,
doesn't
and
just
especially
dart.
since she is, I think last time she was at work like a few weeks ago for rabies and distemper. I think she was only 3.8 pounds.
So small, she's still a
So
peacock,
small and little, and she's
and so
very
fast.
fast. Like, so when I open the bathroom door when I get home, she's like out. Granted, she's been in the
Mhm,
bathroom all day, but like still, her
right. All
speed
that
is
pent up
like,
energy, but she's still
yeah.
like,
But what she does, because apparently I take too long to get her food,
"Ugh,
so
diva."
she just she cries and cries, and then I'm scooping out her food, and I'm
Mhm.
taking in her mind too long. So she's like, "Wee," with her little like squeaky voice. I'm like, girl, first of all, you ate breakfast. You're not that hungry.
Right.
And like you're acting like I never feed you. Okay.
That's a cat thing. You would think they've been starving in the desert for, like,
Yes.
40 days and
Or
40
it's like when
nights.
dogs get
Oh,
so
they
excited when they see you and you're like, all I did was
Uh-huh.
go to the bathroom. And it's
Yeah.
like they haven't seen you in like 30 years. Cats are like, you
Mhm.
haven't fed me in 8 million years. It's like, you had breakfast 2 hours
I am but a starving Victorian
ago.
child.
Yeah. I'm a sick Victorian child. See my ribs. Like, you know.
It's like Oliver Twist.
Oh,
"Please, sir."
can I have some more? And it's like 2 seconds after he ate.
And then they do that thing, well, Lemmy's doing it more so now where it's like they start to eat, like, you put their food down and they eat in the middle, and then they just leave, like, the giant ring
Uh-huh.
around, and it's like, "You're only you only ate, like, a quarter of this," and they start doing that thing where they just start to bury the food, they're like, "Yep, I'm done." Like,
Yes.
I have to keep saying,
And I
"No,
don't
you
know
can
why
come back."
Niall would eat as much as he feels like he needs. And then
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, you walked away and there's still food in your bowl. Like, I can take it off because if I don't
Yeah.
take it up, like, Sticks will eat it.
Mhm.
But
She's just like, "Ooh, more for me. Yum, yum, yum."
she'll eat all of her food, and then if there's more for him from him, she will eat it. So I have to either lock her in the bathroom to let him finish, or like hold her tight and make sure he actually gets his food. But
Yeah.
both of them, after everyone's done, the both go to Styx's bowl and do that thing where like they're covering it up.
Mhm.
There's nothing
It's
there.
literally right. It's literally like they think it's gone, like, it's something about, like, the barrier of,
Yeah,
like I think and they're, like, protecting it, like, same thing with their litter box, like, they're covering, like, the
right.
smell.
And like
That's it
yeah,
too.
I guess so. Like the poop makes sense because it's like, wow, it's not covered, it's exposed. Like maybe cats have
Mhm.
this internal anxiety of like, you see my shit, like I gotta get it. But like your food, like I don't get it.
I think it's just like, well, when Lemmy does it and he's not done his food, it's almost like to me, he's like, "Oh, I'm saving it for later.
Oh, true.
Wrap
Like,
it up wrap it up in
yeah.
foil, save it for
And he doesn't have a beard to put it in. So he's just
leftovers."
like, oh,
Leftovers.
save it for later. Yeah.
Yeah, literally leftovers.
Leftover. Yeah. And so cats are, they're great, but they have their problems
Yeah,
sometimes.
and these problems can bring some emotional times and some times of turmoil where you're not sure where things are gonna go next,
I remember
which would be
getting I remember getting all your text messages about Lemmy.
mhm,
Oh my
mhm.
gosh.
Yeah, so our little boy, he's gonna be 2 in November, which I can't even
Already?
fathom. Yeah, I know. I'm like but it's like the whole thing where you're like, "He's only, like, a couple months and he just turned 1." I'm like, "No, he's gonna be 2 in November."
Wow. Yeah.
But it's wild because we are almost, like, halfway through this year, which is flying by,
Oh,
time isn't real.
yes.
Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
"What? It's May? Hello, yeah, we're recording this today and it's May 1st." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh
But,
yeah.
yeah, I can't believe it's May. I don't know. Time isn't real. But here's the whole thing. Around this time last year We had some health incidents and issues with Lemmy. So our little boy is blind. He cannot see,
Mhm.
and he wasn't born that way. He wasn't born blind.
No.
So
Yeah.
unfortunately, we have a story today about how our little boy within the first year of his life had more vet visits than we ever anticipated at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when you
So,
think, like, as kittens, you're really only
mhm,
just hopefully needing your few vaccines. You know, you got your
right,
rabies and then
typically.
distemper, for those that don't know, you get that every 3 to 4 weeks up until you're 4 months old. And then you
Mhm,
get it yearly or every 3 years. So, like, as a cat owner, you're not expecting to really do anything as crazy as like you had to deal with.
right, exactly. Yeah, so this all happened around, I want to get the exact, it was the end of April, because I remember there was a couple of events that I had to go to that day that I
Oh,
didn't get
that
to go
yep.
to
Mhm.
because of everything going on with him. So I want to say the exact date was, well, it was late April. Let me get the exact date, but it was this time last year. Okay, so it was like the last week in April, because it happened over a weekend.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
specifically believe everything went down between a Thursday and a
Like a
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we basically started to notice that he was not being himself. Like his energy level dropped very fast,
Yeah.
really, and he wasn't eating. He was sleeping a lot, but he was like not just tired. He was just like out. Like nothing was like getting him to like stop sleeping. And we even put like his food like
Yeah.
in front of his face, and this was like around like the Thursday like evening into the night. And we're like, okay, maybe it's just something. I don't know. Maybe he got like cold or sick or fever. I don't know, but we'll see if how it is like overnight. And then into the next evening, I look at his eyes, and his eyes are all black. Like it's not the color or anything.
Yeah,
It's
just the
just like,
like I guess the pupil, right? It's just like
yep, just enlarged. And I was like, oh no, something's wrong. He's got to go somewhere. We
yeah.
need help now. Because I was like, that can't be normal. Like, it wasn't like he just got like that. Like, he got scared or something and then they went back or whatever. You know what I mean?
They
It
were
wasn't
staying
temporary. It
like
was
that.
not
Yeah.
go right. Exactly. So then we took him to, I found the 24-hour vet because at that time it was in the evening and it was a Friday in the evening. And that was already around like 5 or 6 in the evening, I want to say. I decided that no, he needs to
Yeah.
we both decided, me and my fiance were talking, and we were like, you know, he needs to see a vet now. So then we took him to, I found a 24-hour vet that was relatively close to us. So we went, and they were kind of just like, I mean, I guess they were a place that could diagnose and have problems, but a lot of times it seemed like they were, I guess maybe since his problem was so severe and it happened so quickly, they needed to refer us somewhere else.
Yeah. It
So
happens a lot like that.
basically, yeah, yeah. And yeah, this place wasn't, I don't know if it was 24 hours or closed around, I want to say like 8 or 9. So we were pretty much, I think, like the last person there at that particular place. And they just basically told us that he was, at that point they said he was deaf and blind. So we were
Oh,
like, huh?
yeah.
Yeah. Because but I think at that point he was just so
Out of
sick
yeah.
with what was going on that he was like not exhausted. Like he was just exhausted, and he wasn't responding to either visual cues or like sound cues.
Mhm.
So then we just got all that information just thrown at me,
Oh, yeah.
and we were just like,
Yeah.
"What?" And they were like, "We can do some blood work here, but we might have to refer him to somewhere else." And then they referred us to the hospital where he eventually had a whole team, and now basically has like a fan club. Everybody loves him
Mhm.
there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how can you
Yeah,
not? Honestly.
right. But they were basically just like they gave us some blood work and was like, whack, his levels are bad. Um, he can't see, he can't hear, and they were like, we need to refer you here to find out exactly what it is. So then, within the course, we took him home that night, and we went the next morning to the bigger hospital that like has a more like specialized like actual veterinarian hospital to do like the proper blood work and what he needed.
Mhm.
And then after blood work and checking, and then the end diagnosis was that he has a toxoplasmosis. Toxoplasmosis is really messed up because they can't always trace to back to where that it came from.
Right.
Their first thought, your first thought is always like maybe it could have came from where you got him from, but that was not the case because he had been home. We got him in February, and these problems didn't start coming up until late April.
Yeah.
So if it was from, you know what I mean, like if there was an issue where the shelter where you work, where we got him from, I feel like that would have popped up way sooner. So that was ruled out
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Because
But
if it has to do with the way his pupils look,
mhm,
if it was where, like you said, where like the shelter would have noticed, like, hey, his pupils
exactly,
don't look
because
right.
they do like the full health workup,
Oh
and if there
yeah.
was anything that was
Mhm.
off, you've been able to find that out. So again, that was ruled out really quickly. But in the end, they did um, come to realize that unfortunately, it's a rare thing that happens. But our little boy did have toxoplasmosis, and in the end, thank God, further testing did find that he is not deaf.
Yeah.
So there's that. Because I feel like, I mean, he obviously is such a strong boy and so resilient that I feel like even if that was the case, he would still be
Oh
thriving
yeah.
and doing pretty well. But in the end, the infection did take his sight. His retinas ended up being like basically like
Yeah.
unfixable by the end of it.
Yeah.
And then what ended up happening was through a lot of work through he has a cardiologist there, he saw a neurologist there. This cat has seen more doctors in a
Mhm.
year than I have in my entire life, I think. Um, thank God for insurance is all I'm gonna say
Yeah,
as
and
far
so
as
I
what we had to do.
yeah, and so I was googling it, and it
Mhm.
says toxoplasmosis is an infection with a parasite called Toxoplasma gondii. I guess that's how you say that, and you can get it
Mhm.
from eating undercooked meat. Well, people can, and from
Mhm.
contact with cat feces, and it can
Mm.
pass
So
to a baby during pregnancy if it's like a human.
yeah.
So it looks like it sheds from like somehow the cat gets it and sheds, and then it can go to humans and other animals. But
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
But
and
he's
I was
the
talking to my sister, and that happens a lot. Like, they're very vulnerable. One of the most vulnerable to it when they're kittens.
oh yeah.
So she says in her shelter, she said we do test them for that, and sometimes it does happen, and they have it before they even get like adopted, and it's just
Yeah.
they're more vulnerable to it when they are
Yes.
babies,
And I don't
unfortunately.
know if I don't think work we have the ability to test for those things because we're a nonprofit and we're kind of like low cost. But we
Mhm.
do like if we do notice something, we obviously do blood work, urine testing. They get all their vaccines done, the
Mhm.
standard health checkups prior to adoption. So like they
Yeah.
obviously did everything they could. Nothing was wrong,
Mhm.
and somehow after you got him, he just ended up getting this parasite,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah. And
crazy.
he's just. Oh, I
It's just
know.
so
I know.
random too.
Yeah, I know. I know. But he's a strong, resilient boy. And then after many tests, he had to actually like get like a couple. He's had a couple now. Like echocardiograms, which is
Oh,
wild to me. I'm just like,
I know. Because sometimes
about
I
him,
look at
just
it,
like
I'm
his
like,
little
huh,
body.
that's a people thing.
Yeah, I remember the one time he had to get a blood work done, and they had to like shave
Oh
his
yeah.
like part of his paw. So we used to we used to say a joke. Me and my fiance used to make a joke that it looked like he was wearing a watch because of
Yeah,
where they had shaved
because
his
the
paw.
fur would like yeah, so it would look like a watch. That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so we used to walk over to like, and obviously it goes away pretty quickly, but at the first, like, he had never been shaved, like, you know what I mean? Like, his hair had
Yeah.
never been like he was still like a baby fully grown in his hair, so they just took it was around his wrist where they had to get like kind of like the front of his paw where they got the blood work done. I guess
Yep.
that's like the easiest place to like drain it from. But yeah, he looked like he was we used to say he's wearing his little
Yeah.
wristwatch. That's what
Yeah, they usually do. I mean, I guess they get blood anywhere they can, but they usually go for the
Mhm.
front legs and the back legs.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they
I
go
mean, it makes
for
sense, I
like
guess
a
I can.
jug, yeah. But it's
Oh,
easier to
okay.
go for the legs, so obviously in
Yeah.
some cats and some dogs you do have to shave. So it does look
Mhm.
funny. And it's
Yeah.
always just you're
Yeah.
shaving with the one area, so it's not even even on both
Right.
sides.
Yeah, and they didn't even do it well, they only had to do it on the because I guess they just draw the blood from the one spot unless they
Yeah.
need to give him some type of shot somewhere else in his
Mhm.
body, but it was just on the one side, so it was really funny because it did look like a watch fully because it was just on one side of
He's just telling the time.
Yeah, exactly,
As a
exactly.
blind man, he has a watch on his wrist to
It's a
tell the time.
special watch. It's a
It's
special watch
it's an
just for him.
Alexa one where it just tells you the time every hour.
Right,
It's
exactly.
it's like when the church bells go off every hour, his watch does. Oh,
Yeah,
2 a.m.
it's like his own Bluetooth.
Yeah. It just reads it out to you. It's now
Yeah.
6 o'clock. Oh, great.
Well, it would be Braille, I guess then, right? I wonder his little paws, like, I just
Oh my
picture his
god,
little
wait,
paws,
no,
like, going over Braille.
his watch. No, his watch would like the hands would be braille,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
and it would move around, and
Uh,
you'd be like, "Ah," and you could just see
oh,
him in the corner, just touching his other paw, like, hmm,
yeah.
6
But
a.m.
hey thank God for perseverance of the, medical team and us just, pursuing
Yeah,
and getting him the care that he needed because it's a good story. It turns out
yeah,
he's fine. He's thriving. He's on some medications and he needs to be on most likely for his
life.
little life.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you know
he's
what
on.
medication he's on?
Yeah, I was just about to say he's on an antibiotic indefinitely. He's on that's clindamycin
Ah, yes, yeah,
indefinitely, and then he has 2 well, one's to drain any type of fluid 'cause this also caused, a lot of issues with, like, fluid, like, with his heart and
mhm,
everything, so they have him on 2 medications to keep that at bay, so in the morning, when he gets his food, he gets, Salix, I believe it's called,
mm,
or, like, I think it's like a version of, like, furosemide, it's like drain fluid.
yeah,
And then at nighttime when he gets, because that's why he's on, like, his schedule for his food doesn't really can only fluctuate so much because he does need to be, like, 12 and 12
yeah,
hours for his, medication. So and like I said, in the morning, he'll get Salix, and then in the evening with his dinner, he'll get, like, basically Plavix, like, the cat's version of, like, Plavix, I
yeah,
believe it's called. Yeah, an anticoagulant because we
mhm,
don't want him to
clot.
we
Yeah,
always make, like you just try to make, like, jokes about everything to just make it, like, more lighthearted, so we're like,
uh-huh, so it
You can't be
doesn't
you can't be coagulant,
don't
mister."
clot
And then
yourself, sir. No clotting.
No, no, stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good
And you
story
would
now he
obviously, you know he's blind by looking at him,
Yes.
but if other than that, he's a normal cat.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you
and
would not
sometimes
know
like,
any.
when he gets, like, a long nap, like, a good, very long amount of sleep, when he opens his eyes, you see the color again.
Yeah.
When he wakes up, it's just
Oh,
when he wakes up and just starts, like, I wonder I guess it's 'cause his body's, like, relaxed, I'm not sure, but
yeah.
he looks like a little cartoon character with those
I
black eyes. That's what
know. It's like a little kawaii,
my one
just like
friend in
big
grade
eyes.
school, she's like, "He looks like a little cartoon."
He does.
Yeah. Yeah, but he was beloved. He gained, at the at the hospital that we, well, now the basic follow-up is just, like, he just has to stay on the medication that he's on, and then I believe we have to get him in for, like he's gonna have an echo in the late summer. So just to, like, monitor things, but
Yeah. And you don't need to
we don't
see
even
like an
need to right, we
ophthalmologist.
just get, like, our no, not right now, no, because
Yeah.
once they determined that his vision wasn't coming back, that's not
There's like no need. Yeah.
no, no, exactly. So now he just follows up with the cardio people, because that's still
Yeah.
yeah, but when he went to like, we took him to well, Craig took him, like, a couple weeks ago to, like, a general vet, like, a local vet,
Mhm.
and from what they could see, it was a very small amount of fluid, which is good. That means the
Yeah.
medication's doing what it needs to do, so now we just have to do, like, echoes out every now and then, probably, like, twice a year, maybe, like, once a year to just,
Yeah.
like, follow up, and obviously, if anything changes or we see anything change with him, obviously, we know where to take him
Yeah.
and what to do, but he's been good. He's been good, he's a little fighter.
Oh, I love him.
He inspires me every day.
Yes.
Ah,
And
so I don't know if we wanna transition now into
oh god.
Mr.
It's
Nile.
not
Mr. Nile's had
it's
his
not
own
oh,
issues. It's not as dramatic, I would
it's
say,
not
but
dramatic, but it is
yeah.
annoying.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
poor Mr. Nile's been through
yeah,
it a little bit, you
at
know?
least I would say for me, I work at a animal shelter that also has like a veterinary clinic. So it is
Yep.
nice because I do have staffing there all the time. And
True.
my manager's obviously full time. So when things are like slightly off, I'm like, what is this? Is this okay?
Yeah, you
And
have
they're
that
like,
go
oh,
to.
yeah. And obviously, if it's anything that serious, I would need to go somewhere else. So it
Mhm.
wasn't something that we couldn't handle.
Yeah.
But I think I mentioned this in the first episode, but he was somebody else's like normal pet. Like we deal with
Mhm.
public animals, so he was someone's pet coming in for a normal checkup. Nothing was wrong. I mean, he was very skinny looking and gross looking, but they just came in for the checkup, and then halfway through the appointment, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna like we gotta go get." I think they said they were had to go get their money or something. I can't remember exactly what they said, but they were like, "Oh, we'll be right back," and they went to their car and then just drove off,
Wow.
and they just left him in the middle of the appointment. So then, like part of the way through the appointment, the doctor was coming out being um, like where are the owners? And I was like, I don't know. And then one of the other texts was like, I saw them get in their car and they just kept going.
Wow.
And at that point, then it becomes a humane like law investigation because he got abandoned at work.
Right.
And so you need to figure out what to do with that.
Mhm.
So they placed him in another department called ISO that does like any in-house isolation work for all the sick
Mhm.
animals. So they placed him in one of those cages, and then he was on hold for like a, the end of July to like mid August
Mhm.
under the investigation. And then one of my managers, or not my manager, one of the doctors who was working downstairs, she sent me an internal message the day after I got back from vacation. She was like, Niall's waiting for you. And I was like,
Oh.
oh, because it's been so long since I've owned a cat. I just moved into my own condo. Like, do I give myself time? But then look
Right.
at him. But also, he's very sick looking. His fur
Yeah.
was disgusting. He had some sort of like URI thing going on. His eyes were all crusty,
What's a URI
like
again?
upper respiratory infection.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a URI, and his eyes were all he was like you could see where like his body indented inward. Like it.
Oh,
Maybe I'll
okay.
post a picture of what he looks like back then, and then you can
Yeah.
post Lemmy's picture. Like
True.
it was rough, and so I was like,
Yeah.
well, they did blood work on him in house,
Mhm.
so I already got the baseline of what that looks like, and they already did everything that they needed to do to treat him. So he's obviously going to get better, but then like, is he that like if he's that skinny and sickly looking, like, do I want to take that on? But like, look at him, he's so cute. So I was like, all right. So he wasn't fixed either.
Oh
And
boy.
you can't, we fix all of the cats and dogs prior to adoption.
Mhm.
And so when I came in on Monday, I knew that I wanted to take him, but we're closed on Mondays, at least on the adoption side of things, we're closed. So I couldn't technically adopt him. And so I asked one of the people, I'm like, hey, I just want to make sure I can adopt him. Like, if I wait too long, someone else can take him. And then
Right.
they told me, well, how about you just foster him until the adoption center opens the next day and then you can just adopt him. But he's not fixed. So if you're comfortable with it, we'll fix him today. And then you'll have to take him home and monitor like him after surgery, which was also
Okay.
scary, even though it's just like a neuter, not a major
Yeah.
surgery. Like I'm at work all day. I can't be home to take care of a cat I barely know. Is he the type that's going to lick his incision? Do I need to get a cone? I have cones at work I can take, but like I don't want to. bother. Like, I didn't know what to do, and he ended up being perfectly fine after his
Yeah.
surgery. And then
Yay,
so I
Mr.
adopted
Nile.
him officially. His name was Niall when I got him,
Yeah.
and I don't. Well, it does fit him, but when I first
Mhm.
got him, I was like, ugh. Like Niall is such like a human sounding name.
Yeah. I mean, they did name him after like it's Nile though, so they did
Yeah,
name him after the river
I assume they probably
technically.
did. Obviously, we don't know. Um.
Yeah.
Oh,
Plus, should
and
just be
then
like, no, we just wanted to spell it like that.
yeah, and then also because there was the whole like humane law investigation going on, and
Mhm.
so one of my other managers, she's like the head of all the surgery and clinic people. She got involved, and
Mhm.
she texted Niall's owners and were like, "Hey, like you left him here. Either you need to sign over the surrender forms, or we're getting the humane officer involved." And I think that's
Hmm.
finally when they were like, "All right, we'll sign the paperwork." It took like a threat basically for them to be like, "All right."
Now, how far if they didn't like if they were just like, yeah, whatever, they didn't really take it as a threat, then what would have happened then?
I feel like it's not as serious as like other cases would be. They
Mhm.
didn't abuse him. He
Right.
wasn't like he definitely was sickly looking, but like
But there was nothing that you could
no,
directly like you couldn't say like,
no,
oh, they're not feeding him or they're doing this or blah
no.
blah
And the doctor that took care of him in the clinic, she also worked downstairs. So she said that when the owners were originally talking to them during the appointment, that they said they only fed him like tuna, a canned tuna. So he
blah.
definitely
Oh,
wasn't eating enough,
right.
given how he
Okay.
looked. And he wasn't eating the right type of food if you're only giving him canned tuna. But there was, from my knowledge, no actual like, oh, you're abusive towards this animal. So I would
Right.
assume if things escalated, they would probably get fined. But I don't think it would be that serious enough to go to like court or anything crazy.
Yeah.
And then so I adopted him, and then luckily again I work at a clinic, so I am able to tell my managers when things happen. So his skin awful. So I got, it's like Derma, I think it's called Derma 3. It's like the fish oil, and he
Mhm.
just pumped it on his food. He ate that just fine because I
Cool.
guess you can barely taste it if you're like
Yeah.
doing that on his food. And then within like a week, his skin was like beautiful,
Cool.
so soft. And then over
King.
time, like you can tell he got like really big.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Again,
he was,
again, he's
yes.
comfortable. He's comfortable and happy.
And in the beginning, he was definitely in his terrible twos, and he like destroyed my house, and I had to get a cover for. And he only destroyed the side of the couch that I was sitting on. So the side
So
that's,
specific.
yes, and so I don't know if it's because like
Almost adds insult to injuries. Like this is your side of the couch, huh? Scratch,
maybe
scratch, scratch.
because he always needs to be near me,
Yeah.
and he followed me around everywhere and still does. Not as much now that I have a kitten, but like
Oh,
he was always with me.
yeah.
And so like I think because I was sitting on that side, he was like, "Oh, you're right there." And so he would
Right.
just destroy that side of the couch. And then he eventually like died down a little bit once I got my kitten.
Uh huh.
And so he grew up, he got fat,
Yeah.
he got chunky, happy, healthy, he was fine. And then I don't
Mhm.
exactly remember when things started, but it was months after I got him. I think
Yeah.
maybe, so I got him in August, and I think it might have been December. And
And just
again,
to clarify, this all happened like, is it? Are you just talking about stuff that happened before you got six, or like is this also going
oh,
into?
this is prior to Sticks, yeah.
Okay.
Um, so in December of 23, I think it was, just me and him. And I always locked him out of my
Mhm.
bedroom because he does this thing where he likes to jump on the bed, jump on the top of the headboard, and then he crawls in between the wall and the back of the headboard onto the ground, and then does it again, like 8 million times. So, like, I don't even want to look behind my headboard to see how many scratches are on there. No. So I kick him out because you're not destroying my sleep or my bed. And so the door's shut, and sometime in December that day, I woke up. I don't have my glasses on. I don't have my contacts in. So like I can barely see shit. And I'm like walking out and I'm like, what is on the ground? And so I bend down and I'm like, oh, like he went to the bathroom outside the litter box, whatever. So I go grab my glasses. I come out. No,
Mhm.
he had massive diarrhea everywhere. So you know how my living room and my dining room are like connected. It's like an open space. It was
Mhm.
all over the dining room floor. Thank God it's hardwood. Then near my closet in my living room is also hardwood right there. It was there. All by my window out to my deck is also hardwood. It was all there. It was on my rug in my living room. It was everywhere. So I'm like frantically trying to clean the shit. And then I go into work and I'm like, oh, like, what do I do? And so my manager was like, oh, take home Flora, which is like a probiotic. So it helps with like loose stools and finish the course of the Flora and see what happens. It should resolve within like a week.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't, then we'll like reassess and see like
Right.
what's going on. So a week went by, it got worse. And then it got slightly better. And then one day I come home, again, it's everywhere. So I had to go buy puppy pads and I covered my entire living room rug. I go into my bedroom because I have a window that like indents like outward so we can sit and look
Mhm.
out. It was all on that. It was in my on my bedroom rug, again, like in my kitchen. And I'm like, oh my God. And so like for 2 weeks straight, he was having massive bouts of like diarrhea everywhere.
Ooh boy,
And then so I
that
talked to
must have
my
been a lot of fun
oh God.
for you and Niall, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
And
god.
I will never forget this. And I was so mad. I can't be mad at him because he's having massive diarrhea and I feel bad. But the one day he's sitting, like, obviously, I guess diarrhea is uncomfortable, right? So he's sitting
Am I
in.
right? No.
Am I right? You understand. Um, but he was like scooting his butt across my dining room
Mhm.
because like it's uncomfortable and maybe something's stuck on his butt. You know, dogs do that too. So he's like scooting, scooting, scooting. I'm like, well, at least it's fine because he's scooting, but there's no diarrhea coming out. So, like, if you just want to itch your butt on my hardwood and just get that itch gone, like, fine. So he's scooting across the hardwood just fine. But then he starts scooting across my living room rug. And as soon as he hits the rug, that's when the streak of diarrhea just follows. I was like, are you? You were on the freaking hardwood. You could have at least gotten it on the hardwood. No, you waited until you were on my rug. And that's when I decided, you know what?
Oh.
I'm gonna go to PetSmart or Petco or
Mhm.
something and get like the puppy pads, get the stain and smell removal for cats and dogs. Like, no.
Mhm.
And then I go in and I tell my manager, I'm like, he's still like, it's not worse than it was. It's not better.
But it's
I
just kind of
yeah,
it's the same.
but it's going on for at this point almost 2 weeks. And clearly the probiotics not helping, so I don't know like what's going on. Then she did a dewormer and she was like, do you think you can like give this pill to Niall? And I was like, maybe. He eats treats, so like I'll try it
Mhm.
in case it's some sort of worm. And I couldn't get enough of a fecal sample to test it because it's diarrhea, so it's not firm enough to even get anything. It's like basically a puddle of poop. And so I'm like, I'll try this like dewormer. Oh, I can't pill
Yeah.
Niall to save my life. He's a nuisance. I put it down thinking he would eat it because he likes treats and he's food motivated. No.
Mhm.
Then I got those pill pockets and I mixed it up in a pill pocket. Nope. I put it in his food thinking maybe he would not notice it's there. No, he noticed and he ate around it. And so I had to like pick him up and shove it down his throat.
Yeah.
We tried that, waited a few days, nothing happened. She was like, I recommend like the prescription diet food from Hills. It's formulated. They have, kidney food, urine food, gastrointestinal like food. So get like the ID food from Hills and then try that and see if it resolves. And that worked just fine. So I don't know if something's just in his system, but the food seemed to help. So I was like, all right, like you're good. But during that time when I was still worried that he was having all this diarrhea,
Mhm.
I told my manager, I'm like, can I bring him in for blood work just in case? Because, I don't think it's worms. I haven't seen anything in the litter box concerning. We tried a dewormer that didn't do anything. So, like, can I bring him in for blood work? Maybe there's something internally there that we're not obviously going to see. So I brought him in for
Right.
blood work. And I was like, well, maybe if I'm here, I might as well just test his urine. And it's called a SediVue. And I'm sure they have it in like human labs too. But you can
Mhm.
test your urine in house. So you collect the sample and then you run it in house, and it will be able to tell you if there's any protein, any bacteria, blood, crystals, all that kind of stuff. So I told my
Gotcha.
manager, I'm like, well, whatever panel is fine. I get 4 blood works a year for free at work, which is really nice, considering most of them are like $100 something. So I'm like, if I can get the one that includes the urine, I
Mhm.
might as well test it in house because I like testing the urine in house anyway. So we got the blood from him and he peed in the litter box with the fake litter in it. And so I'm like, great. I really like using the SediVue. I think it's really interesting. Like, I just can't wait to see how great his urine's going to look. And
Mhm.
then I do the SediVue. He has like over 50 something crystals in there. He has blood in his urine. His protein was high. The specific gravity, like indicator thing, that was like off the charts. Like
Oh,
thank
Mr. Nile.
But thank God, because if I didn't get his urine that day, if I didn't feel like testing it, or if he just didn't go to the bathroom all day, like I
Mhm.
would have never known that he had a UTI. Because
Right.
a lot of times cats hide their symptoms anyway.
Yeah,
And there
I've
was
heard of that.
no
They're like
in
masters at hiding
right.
their pain.
And there's no indication besides the diarrhea, which wouldn't have anything to do with his urine, but like no other indication that there's something obviously wrong. I think maybe he peed outside the litter box once, but sometimes he does that when he thinks it's still full. And I think he
Mhm.
gets pissed that I haven't cleaned it yet, so he like goes right next to it. But like I think he did that maybe once. And so I'm like, that wasn't too concerning considering maybe I just haven't cleaned the litter box yet. But if I had never tested his urine, he would still have a UTI. And
Yeah.
then
And
so
then the symptoms could like worsen. Like I don't
oh
know how it translates in cats, but sometimes if like humans can get UTIs, it can dehydrate you. It can cause all kind of weird like
oh yeah.
mental
So
symptoms
there's
too.
a
So
thing um called, I'm gonna Google to actually get
messes
the
with your kidneys too.
hmm um so it's called a cystotomy.
Mhm.
Um, it's basically bladder stones. And obviously, I
Oh
think
no.
there's like other clots and things that it takes out. But I, if I remember correctly, obviously, if it's like a UTI and it progresses, then you would
Mhm.
need the cystotomy done to remove the stones.
Okay.
Yeah, it says surgery of the bladder to remove bladder stones, clots, tumors, or other obstructions. At least at our job, our work, it's bladder stones that they remove during that kind of surgery.
Mhm.
It's like for us, again, we get the surgeries also for free. So
Mhm.
it wasn't cost related that I was like worried about, but like
Right.
having to put him under, like that would have been so bad.
Yeah.
And I would have felt so bad for not knowing something was wrong or seeing that something was wrong because he acted normal.
Yeah.
He went to the bathroom. He wasn't straining to go to the bathroom. He ate and drank just fine. Besides the diarrhea, his energy was still normal.
Yeah.
Like,
It
it's
didn't slow him
crazy
down
that,
or anything.
yeah, it's crazy that you don't see things at all sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be really like they're little babies and
Yeah.
taking care of babies
hmm
basically.
And
You know.
then, so, first thing that they recommend is um, medication called amoxiclav. It's
Mhm.
amoxicillin clavamox. Um,
Okay.
it's used to treat obviously UTIs like and any sort of bacterial infections. Um, so we did that, and it's like an antibiotic. So we did that, and then they recommended retesting like a few weeks after you finish the medication. And of course, it's a medication that's refrigerated. So the pre-packaged medication is just the powder, and then you mix it with water, and then you can put it in the fridge. So I was like, well, I'm going to mix it up right before I leave to go home. That way I can put it right in the fridge. That
Mhm.
same day I go home, my power's out, which means my fridge does not work.
Oh no.
And I have to put this medication in the fridge. And luckily it's the dead of winter and it's cold.
Yeah.
But like I
Oh
texted my
God. Right.
manager, I'm like, I don't know when my power went out. I don't know when it's coming back on. It says they're working on it. But like, how long can I leave this sitting out before it goes bad? Because I need to start on this medication like today. And she was
Right.
like, honestly, I'm not sure, but if your fridge isn't on by tomorrow, just get another like thing of Moxiclav. And I was like, okay. It
Right.
eventually turned on and we were fine. That did not work. I retested his urine in house and he still had the UTI. Slightly
Mhm.
better than the first time I tested his urine. It's still just as bad. So they were told me to then get special diet food. And like I said, Hills makes their versions of like all types of issues. So the CD food is for like urinary tract infections.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, he's on this dry food already for perfect weight because he has to lose weight according to my
Mhm.
doctor. So the dry food was the perfect weight. And the CD food, I got the wet food version. Turns out, and maybe this is why he's still fat. Um, perfect
Oh.
weight food obviously is to either lose weight or manage the weight that they're at.
Right.
But the CD food is high in fat. So like him being on that at the same time as being on the perfect weight food is not going to help
Mhm.
him lose any weight because he's
Right.
just eating a food that's going to make him fat. So then again, I kept him on the CD wet food for a while, a few months.
Mhm.
And then maybe a month ago, yeah, last month, my manager was like, hey, I just want to test, like, I want to do a special urine panel, like a urine culture panel, and just really get, like, more information on his UTI and why he's still having it. So it tests for more than just your standard urinalysis done.
Right.
And you can use one of your free blood works for 2024 on the urine if you want to, so you're not paying like $100 something. And I was like, sounds good to me. And then we tested his urine during the urine culture, and he's urine free, urinary, no UTIs. But
Nice.
it took from
Woo!
December to March, or technically, so from December to April, he had a UTI.
Our little fur babies are fighters.
And then on top of that, then I get sticks, right? And
Mhm.
this resolved within like a week, or like a week and a half. But randomly
Mhm.
one day, she went to the bathroom and I saw blood in her stool. And I was like, absolutely not. So when you see blood in your stool, you're like, mm. So I texted my manager and I was like, is this something that's like urgent? Like you need to go somewhere now? Or
Mhm.
is this something I can kind of look at and, manage on my own and see how, you know, she is? And she was like,
Mhm.
is she eating, drinking, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, she's acting like she always has since I got her. She was like, okay, just watch how she is for a few days. And then I think that was on a Monday night when I came home from work. And then Thursday night, everything was fine the whole entire week. And then Thursday night, I saw it again. And then a few days later, I think on that Sunday, I saw it again. So like it was on and off. And my doctors basically were saying like kittens' immune systems are all out of whack because they're like little. Maybe she ate something and she got into something that didn't agree with her. But is she still acting normal? And I said, yeah, she's fine. It's just weird that, I'm randomly seeing like blood on her stool. So we did the probiotics, and now I have to hide my toilet paper because that's what she was getting into. And I don't have one of those toilet paper dispensers like built into the wall. I just have a
Mhm.
standing one. So obviously a little bit of the toilet paper is like hanging down. And since she's in the bathroom most of the time, like when I'm at work at least, she got into it. So I came home
Mhm.
the one day and there's a bunch of toilet paper shredded everywhere. And so now I have to hide
I
my
know
toilet.
that. I
Yes.
know that feeling.
And so now I have to hide my toilet paper in my medicine cabinet. And you best believe there are many times when I'm sitting on the toilet and I'm like, time to wipe. And I'm like, oh no, now I have to get up to my medicine cabinet mid pee or poop session to grab
You're
my toilet
one or
paper
two.
that I forgot to take out prior to that. Because if I leave it out, she's no.
Yeah.
And I should have known
I
because
know
the
that. I know that
oh
feeling, having to be preventative.
yes
And that's why we're constantly closing the door. I mean, sometimes like you know the feeling that every time you go to the bathroom, they always want to come in the bathroom with you.
mm,
And Lemmy does that, and he will sit like on the like little rug
yep
in
yeah
front of like the tub. But well, as soon as I get up and I leave, I'm like, nope, you're coming with me. 'Cause
yeah
I know like he
yeah
doesn't always do, but once in a while, if he's left to his own devices, if the bathroom door's open, he
mm.
will rip the toilet paper or
Oh
knock
yeah, and the
something
one
else
day,
down or uh,
like normally when they're
little booger.
together, they're playing with each other
Mhm.
so much, and so I'm like, oh, you're playing like you're in the living room. And the one day
Yeah.
I thought it was weird that I couldn't find them both, and I was like, maybe they're just playing somewhere. My bedroom door is
Mhm.
locked because I know you're gonna chew all my wires, and my PC is in there, and that's expensive to
Mhm.
build. So I'm like, you're not touching anything in there. So I shut that door. I'm like, maybe you're
Mhm.
in the kitchen and I don't realize it. You're not in the kitchen. I go in and both of them together are conspiring to ruin my toilet paper. And so they're both
What
just
are they
at
what
it.
are
And
they
I was,
plotting? What are they plotting? You just look up and they're like hanging on the ceiling.
I know.
You know, like in the
Yes.
like the part in the Grinch where he's like hiding up in the ceiling in the
Yes.
corner.
Yes.
That's Niall. That's
And
Niall, and
on
then
sticks.
Max is Stick. He's
Oh
holding
my
sticks.
God.
Niall's the Grinch.
But them together, it's funny because maybe it's just my own mind, but I never wanted Niall to have a sibling because he always
Yeah,
seemed like a one
an
cat
only
kind of
an only
person.
child.
Yeah. An only child, but also I don't know what he's like outside of me and him. In the
Right,
shelter, obviously, he's set up in a cage in
right.
ISO. because he's not
Mhm.
up for adoption, so he's not interacting with any of the cats that are in the adoption center because they're
Right.
free. They're free for the most part to run around. But like in
Right. So you
ISO,
have no
you're
idea what to
yeah.
expect.
So in ISO, unless you're in the same litter or you're bonded
Mhm.
together, you're by yourself
Mhm.
and you have kittens around you, but you're not interacting with them. So like
Right.
maybe everyone kept telling me like it would benefit him. Maybe he would be less crazy if he had someone to play with while you're at work. But
Yeah.
then at the same time, I'm like, but one, do I want another kitten or like a cat?
Yeah.
Because that's double the amount of food and double the amount of work. And it is nice, again, working at a vet office. I get discounted things, but even so, it's still expensive, even with the discount. Like, it's not the easiest thing to have two cats or anything. So I'm like, oh, no,
No. Two of any pet.
two
It's
of any
double.
pet. And there's
You
some
know.
coworker. There's one coworker. She has, I think, not including bunnies and birds and stuff. I think she has 11 cats and dogs total.
Oh
Not
wow.
including the rest of the non-cat and dog pets that she has. I don't know how she does it. But
We bought a zoo.
we
You
bought
know
we
what I
bought a
mean?
whole shelter. Here it is.
We bought a shelter
We
exactly.
bought a shelter. Make that
It's
like
a
a
sequel
movie.
to We
Yeah.
Bought a Zoo.
Yeah. But honestly, I would watch that.
I could see it. I could
And
see
then
it.
yeah, and then so I would be helping in the mornings. Our office collects payment and stuff for people that are coming in for surgery.
Mhm.
Um, and then they do the surgeries during the day, and then in the afternoon they bring them back to the owners. So there's a bunch of new people at work, and so it's like, oh, like I'll be with you during this morning hour to teach you how to do the sign-ins, so you can get people ready for surgery and their money, whatnot. And every
Mhm.
day for like 2 months straight, the one person, the foster person, she had like a litter of kittens, and they were bottle baby kittens. So I think their case, their mom either probably died or something happened to the mom because they got abandoned as bottle babies, like basically from the womb.
No.
And so they don't have an active parent. So then obviously they went to another shelter. And then I guess we got a call saying, hey, there's like these three kittens. Can you take them? So of course she said yes.
Mhm.
And so there's three of them that were like tiny, like they couldn't go to the bathroom on their own. They can't eat on their
Oh.
own. So you have to start, I think, by tube feeding them in a lot of cases, or feeding them with like a syringe, and then eventually they can eat on their own. But they can't go to the
Oh.
bathroom on their own. And when they do, it's everywhere. Like they don't know how to function. So you have to like wipe them. And it's a hard job to have because people foster bottle babies all the time at work. And I would be so scared because they're so little and fragile and like they're susceptible to like anything that comes their way. I would
Right.
not
They
be
can
able to
compromise a
oh
big time
god, yeah.
compromised immune system.
And I would not be able to take care of bottle babies knowing that tomorrow could be their like I could wake up to feed them and they could be dead. Like it's
That's
scary
so
to
sad.
think. Yeah, it's and my other coworker, I just walked into the surgery office I think yesterday what I think it was yesterday, and she had like four bottle babies all in one incubator. So she's taking care of four at once. I'm like, geez. But so Styx was a
Wow.
bottle baby, and we pulled her and her two siblings. But I kept seeing her for the past like 2 months, and she's so cute, and I didn't really think about adopting her. And then, um, the one day I walked down there and talked to the foster person. And I'm like, oh, where are your babies at? And she's like, oh, they're getting surgery because tomorrow's their big day. And I was like, oh. And then in the back of my mind, I was like, maybe I should take
You're like,
them.
hold on.
Hold
Wait a
on
minute.
now. It's like, because you know, it's the kittens and the puppies that go the fastest. And then it's the older dogs and cats that are usually in the shelter for a very long time because who wants to adopt a senior pet? It's probably going to
Mhm.
die soon, you know? And so I knew that there was no chance that I'd be able to adopt one of them unless I say something now. So I sent an internal message and I was like, send me a picture of all your babies. I want to see them now. She sent me a boatload of pictures, and there's one picture of her and her siblings all together. I was like, what is this gray? Who's this gray one? And they're like, her name's Curiosity. And I was like, ooh, we're changing that. And I was like, I'll let you know by tomorrow morning, but it's a very probable yes. And she was like freaking out and she was so excited. And then in the morning, I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. Like, there's no harm in adopting a second one. I have the room. Maybe Niall would benefit from like having a kitten or somebody. And then my manager also said, if you're going to adopt a second cat, for Niall's sake anyway, adopting a female cat would be best so that there's no hostile
Mm,
like male energy. But also adopting a
right.
kitten would be better because they're younger, so he's more likely not to be, I guess, mean because they're so little. And so a female kitten would be best, and she was female. And I was like, oh. So the next day, I sent an internal message over, and I was like, I will take her. I was like, when can I come down? She was like, anytime. And I was like, yes. So
Like
now
finally.
Niall has a sister, and they're great, and they love each
Yes, he
other,
does.
and they fight.
And they are a
Oh,
team.
they're a team.
I witnessed this. I witnessed the bickering. I witnessed them like just kind of like
Mm, they're typical
the chaos
siblings.
of it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the typical brother that like just pounces. You know how you have those that brother energy where like they just fight you for no reason, and you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know if this is like a guy thing or a brother thing, but he does
Right.
that, and he will WWE like grab her and like slam her, and then
But she's
she's
very
feisty.
strong. Like she doesn't
Oh
take
yeah, yeah.
anything any BS from him.
Well, you know how cats do that thing where, when they're playing with the toys and they're doing that kicking thing really fast.
Yeah.
She
Kick
does
him
that
with the
to his.
back legs.
Yep, she does that to his
Hmm.
face. So when he's
She's like,
trying,
oh, is that your face?
oh, is that your?
Sorry.
Are you trying to attack me right now? Hmm. Better think again.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Not on my watch. Not on Lemmy's watch. Okay. But she will full on kick him with like her back legs, and then
Mhm.
and I always got so nervous because she's so little. He always looked
Yeah.
like he was gonna like. He always came at her with his mouth. And I was like, oh my, like
Mhm.
he's gonna bite. No, he just goes real close and then just starts licking her.
Yeah.
So he doesn't like bite
That's
her,
that's adorable.
but that's like he does slam her into the ground, only to just to
Mhm.
lick her.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
I mean, does she ever give any indication like, "Whoa, dude, too much, back up,"
Oh
or
no,
like
she loves it.
she just fights back?
Yeah,
She just fights back. She's a toughie. She just
she's
fights back.
yeah,
Ah.
she's great. They are good
Sticks
together.
would be like a tomboy getting in the fights.
Yeah,
If she was a
she
human.
yeah, and I feel like Niall. I don't know how he's not a good kid in school, but he's not a bad kid. I think he's just kind of that kid that's just there.
Yeah. It's
Because
just
I
like
was kind
whatever.
of like that too,
I
where
feel like
like
he would. I feel like he'd be like one of those like if he when he became a teenager would just say whatever like all the
whatever,
time, just
man,
whatever,
like a
whatever,
totally
man.
Kyle type of like, yeah. What do you
Um,
think Lemmy would be like? As a
I don't know. I feel like Lemmy would be like. I mean, like if we're just talking about like his energy, like he can be randomly like very like hyper, but then also can be like affectionate. Like he has his moments. Like literally, he just like turns on like the drop of a hat because like
oh
he'll
yeah,
be like on his back. He'll be like on his back, like being like all affectionate, like oh I want pets, and then I start to pet him, and then the next thing you know, he's like trying to lock my arm down and like
oh
bite me.
yes, Sticks is.
I'm just like, "Sir,
Six is
what do
like
you
that
want? What is
where
it that you want? Do you
I'll
wanna
just be
play?" I
sit
feel like it's almost like a ploy, like a trap, and then he's like, "Hi, gotcha," and he just wants to
gotcha.
play with you.
Six is a lot like that where I'll just be sitting on the
Uh-huh.
couch and she like walks over her cute little self and
Mhm.
sometimes she does walk over and she'll like sit on me and start eating and doing the thing with the
Mhm.
blankets. But she's like walks
Yeah.
over all
Making
cute.
biscuits.
Yeah,
Mm,
making biscuits. She's hard at work. Um
yeah.
and she like walks over all cute and I'm like, oh, she's gonna go sit with me. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
she just fully bites my arm. Out of context.
But she
Like
did
I did not give you an indication. And now used to be like that too, but he wouldn't bite like my arms. But
uh-huh.
I told you all the time, like he would randomly, I'd be standing there and he'd come over and bite my ankle. Or like when he was bad, and thank God his terrible twos are over. But
Yeah.
I would,
Lemmy
when,
doesn't bite our ankles if he is near, like a lot of times he'll get us either when we're walking and then, like, he'll do that thing. I know that he's blind, but I don't know how he knows perfectly when we're walking
yes.
away to
Oh, his
jump and
hearing was,
couch.
oh, but his
Yeah,
hearing is very,
it's
yeah,
gotta be because
heightened.
his hearing is just, like, in hyper,
Yeah.
like, over like, just hyperdrive hearing. Because we walk away, and then he'll pick, like, the perfect time, and then you just feel the paws on the back of your, like, calf, like, just and I'm like, "Okay." And he got me. Sometimes he'll get me where, like, like, most of the time he'll go for the calf, but a couple of times he's going for the knee. I'm like, "Sir, are you trying to take me down? Like, what's going on?"
That's his whole plan. Yeah. No,
Like,
because
in
no,
battle, just, like, hitting you in the
he's
back of
trying
the
to get
knee, like
inheritance money, okay? Like he's trying to get you. So he because it would go to you. It would go to him. Your money would go to him. So he's like, if I'll start off at the ankles because that's, she's gonna think, oops, but
he
then
just
I'll one
tries
day go for the knees and hope that she trips and falls.
he just tries to plan to take those mean the
Yeah,
fiance down to get
I
he's like, I'm gonna inherit their
okay.
he has
So
this, like, theory
so
somehow that we're
my
just, like,
mom, she
rich and have
works.
this
Yeah,
inheritance.
my mom works on this. She's home this day. I can sense that during the hours of 9 and 10 she does this, so I could probably go for her knees at this time. I feel like that's what he's doing in the bathroom. He's plotting your murder. And
I
Niall
mean,
used
I don't know, he's in his own world. I'm you know what I'm gonna attribute? Styx is mostly a gray cat, but she's got that little orange
oh yeah,
bit.
at the very top it's like a like brownish orange, like
Yeah. So any type of insane behavior, I'm gonna attribute it to the little
orange.
bit of orange.
Yes.
And I feel like Lemmy is chaotic, but I feel like he could also be more chaotic, and I feel like it's because he's got, like, the mix of, like, the orange and white cat, so I don't know, maybe he's chaotic, but maybe I should count my blessings that he's not more chaotic.
Yeah, he's like 75%. Like he's
And then also, I think it really, like, he's obviously very well aware, but every now and then I think of, like, "Man, what would he be doing?" Like, he jumps and darts around and he can't see.
yeah.
What would he be doing if he could see?
Oh, he would be going for
You
every
know?
part of your body, not just the
Like
knees. He would be like,
Like
okay,
he's has his, like, own, like, modified version of, like, zoomies, but I
yes,
do just remember a couple of times before he got sick and lost his sight that he would be zooming back and forth,
yep,
and I'm just like, "Oh my god," and now he's bigger now, so I'm just thinking
yes. And
and he
Niles
still
taught
does
me.
that anyway. He literally there's times where he will literally climb to the top, like, mountain climb style our, gaming chairs,
Oh,
and then he just gets up at the top, and then he's just like he gets up there and he realizes how high up he is, and he's like, "Oh." And I'm like, "Come
shit,
on, think about what you gotta
yeah.
do. What do you gotta you gotta"
And I remember when I like in the early Nile beginnings where he
the
doesn't
Nile
give a
begins.
shit about
Yeah.
the spray bottle because he would be ruining
Mhm.
my couch, and I didn't want to get the guy ended up getting a covering for the one side of the couch.
Yeah.
It's really ugly and I hate
'Cause
it, but it
we
works.
adapt
Yeah.
to them. They don't change what they do, we just adapt to
Yeah.
what they do to prevent it from happening
But
again.
when he was bad, that's when I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that trick, you know, the spray bottle. If I spray him enough,
Mhm.
he'll get over it. And he didn't.
Yeah.
And he could be soaking wet and be like, all right, try me. Like he does not care. Does not bother
Lemmy
him.
eventually started to care, but we really had to, like follow him around and like spray. Like if he would like scratch the door, we couldn't just like spray him once. He'd be like, "Yeah, okay." We literally had to
Yeah,
follow him around.
nice
He's like,
try.
"Oh, cute, cute," but
Oh,
we
cute,
would
a
have to
door
like
for me to
follow him
scratch.
around and
Yeah.
like follow him around and spray him at least like 5 or 6 times.
Oh
And then
yeah, and Niall.
when he was so because he's so vigilant about like I don't know if this comes from like when he was in like the like all the like doctor's office and like being around like all different things. I don't know, but since then we've just know he's like meticulous about like cleaning himself. Like if he
Yeah.
gets something on himself or like whatever. So I feel like when he got soaked with the water from the spray bottle, he's like, "Oh, wait, I gotta."
Yes. And with
Yeah.
Niall, like he did not care, and I think he took that as the sign of like, oh, so it's my turn. And so I would spray him with the bottle and start walking away to put like the spray bottle on the table. And next thing you know, he's full speed ahead, running at my ankles and like full on like sinking his teeth in me every single time. Like he did not give a shit. And I'm like, if I could, like,
He's like, "Oh, you
you're
want to fight? Let's fight."
try, I got you, like, and your ankle. So nice
He
try.
literally said, he said, "Try me,
Try me,
bitch."
bitch. And then the one day, I wasn't even doing anything the one day, and I was literally just
Mhm.
ordering pizza for dinner and on the app on my phone, and I'm just standing there, not moving, I'm not tapping my foot, I'm not spraying him, and you can just see him out of nowhere, full force, running at me, biting my foot. Sir, I'm ordering pizza. I'm not even trying. I'm not spraying you. You're not being bad. I'm not doing. Why are you like biting my whole foot?
Like, calm down. I will give you a garlic knot with the calm down. No, I'm joking.
Calm down. You want a
You
slice
want,
of
I'll give you
pepperoni?
a
I get it.
tiny.
Like, jeez, sir.
What's that meme? Cats can have. Oh, it's salami. Cats can have a little salami as a
There you
treat.
go. Yeah. And I think over time, he's gotten so fat now. And like
Mhm.
11 pounds is not that big, but he should be closer to like 10 pounds. And so,
Yeah.
because I brought him into work so many times, there's lots of notes on him. And I can see all the vet notes and everything. And one of the things in his vet notes says food motivated. Like, huh, you think?
Oh, I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Same. I think we're all food motivated.
Oh,
Makes
yeah.
sense.
And so I have to share this picture at
Food's
some
great.
point. I'll share this at some point on the gram too. But
Mhm.
as like time went on, he has been not that great at the vet. So he's fine because he just chills in the office all day.
Yeah.
And so he's like super friendly, but it's when things are actually getting done. And so
Mhm.
when we did the urine culture, the only way they accept the urine is from the bladder itself. So you have
Mhm.
to do what's called it's like a cystocentesis, I think it's called, where they basically take a needle, stick it in the bladder, and draw up the urine. And then,
Yeah.
because if you get it from, even if you do like the fake cat litter and get the urine that way, like they won't accept it.
Mhm.
So we tried the one day, super early in the morning, no, nothing in his bladder, and he was fighting like hardcore, like you could not do anything. And so I was like, oh, maybe like, hmm, maybe gabapentin, to make him a little drowsy and maybe more
Mhm.
tolerable at the vet. And
Right,
so,
and they do typically give animals
yeah,
that to calm them down.
yeah, cats. I noticed.
People too.
Yeah, oh yeah, I noticed
Yeah.
at least with us, we give cats gabapentin. Dogs can get gabapentin, and then dogs also get trazodone. But
Mhm.
so I gave him gabapentin, and I knew getting any sort of pill or tablet down his throat was like not happening. So I did the liquid kind, and I
Mhm.
have to share this picture at some point. It's so funny. I sent it to you. The picture of
Yeah.
him on the gabapentin.
Yeah, he was on that
He
good
was
in
he was
that
on the
picture.
good
He was
stuff.
living his little life.
Oh my god, his eyes were glossy, and it's so funny.
He looked like he had the 420 special in that picture. He was gone.
Yeah, he was pre gaming. It was April 9th. He was pre gaming 420.
He was pre-gaming.
Uh,
Oh,
and
man.
then tell me why this was only 50 milligrams in this picture
Mhm.
of the gabapentin, and he looks stoned. And then we tried
Yeah.
again, couldn't get anything. So I'm like, whatever. And manager said, no, the 50 seems okay, but if you want to bump it up to 100 milligrams, that's also fine. And I was like, I'll do that. Tell me why the 100 milligrams seemed like it did nothing.
Man, he built up a tolerance
Oh,
fast.
he was like, not today, Satan.
He
Nope,
said, "No,
you're
I need."
gonna,
He said, "No, I need some
nah.
more. You're gonna have to do better than that."
This isn't the good stuff. No, no, no.
Right.
Really? No, no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Why
give
did I
you,
just think of that? Why did I just think of that one Vine where the girl's like, "Dad, it's the good Kush." He's like,
honey,
"This
it's
is
the
the
dollar
dollar.
store.
This
How
is the
good can
dollar
it
store."
be?
You know what's my favorite thing about that Vine? If you look back and watch it, the dad's shirt just says college.
Wait, it doesn't say an
That makes
actual
it
like
even no, it
name.
doesn't
It
say,
just
like, the
says the
name
word
unless it's on
college.
the back unless it's on the back and you can't see it, but I'm pretty sure because he's facing front to her, and then she picks up, like, I wanna say still staying on brand with the pet theme, I wanna say it was, like, dog treats or, like, those green,
Yes,
like,
and it
things
was
for,
like,
like, dogs to chew on, and she was like, "Dad, it's the good Kush, look," and he goes,
or maybe it was like branded towards that because I see it at PetSmart. They have marijuana, like fake marijuana stuff for
"Oh,
cats,
yeah,
but
yeah,
they
yeah."
call it like I forget what they call it.
It's like a
Meow
CBD,
something.
maybe, like a calm
No,
down, like,
no,
some
I
type of
think it's catnip. But like
catnip,
they
okay.
label it something like meowana or something like play
Right,
on
right, right, right.
words and it's just cat
Yeah, because I
related.
mean, catnip has the same effect
Yes.
on cats, but
And
she goes, "It's the good Kush," and the shirt just
yes.
says college.
And I learned quickly that Niall does not need catnip. He's fine.
Yeah. I think Lemmy only had it was in, he had a toy with, like, a pouch of it in it, and he didn't seem any different.
So maybe he's
Like,
just like,
he was just, like, playing, like, he liked the toy and was playing with the toy, but he didn't, like, I don't know if it's because we didn't fully, like, take it out, like, you know those videos of, like, the cats where they,
yeah,
like, take it out and they literally, like, sprinkle it, like, around them and the cats, like, roll in it and
yeah,
everything? We haven't fully done that. I was, like, paranoid to do I realize now that he'd probably be fine, but at the time when all his, like, health issues were, like I was like, "No, his heart, keep it up." Like, I was, like, very hesitant to do anything that was just outside of, like, his
yeah,
medicine and his food. I was like, "My luck, he'll get sick again," but I'm sure he'd be fine. But,
yeah.
honestly, he enjoys playing so much, I feel like he wouldn't even, like, need it, honestly.
Oh yeah,
But
I gave it to him and then I was like, you know what? It's enough. You're enough as you are. There's no need. I can't imagine sticks being on catnip. God, never.
you should probably maybe do it at some point, like, maybe for, like,
I do have catnip
a
bubbles,
birthday.
so I might see what she's for her first birthday. I'll blow some catnip
Maybe, yeah, I
bubbles.
was about to say
Yeah,
do that for her birthday. Or a catnip bubble party.
yeah.
Sounds fun. Sounds like a good time.
You know what else? So you know how we always end every episode with like Facebook statuses.
Mhm.
Do you have a good one?
I do. I do.
Okay.
Now I don't know. I was looking at my memories the other day. I believe it was on. This was from April 30th. 'Cause you know how typically when you look at the memories, it'll just show the memories for that day. I
Yeah.
mean, you can search for the other ones, but then you have to go to your actual page and, like, filter it out, and
Hmm.
that takes long, but when you go on the memories, it's just for that
Yeah.
specific day.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this was an instance of, like, one of my friends taking my phone
Oh
and,
gosh.
like, putting statuses on Facebook. I But this is 2009, so I could also
Huh.
see it's either somebody took my phone and kept posting these statuses, or I didn't know at the time how to, like, edit. I don't know if you could edit statuses in
Yeah.
2009 or if you just delete them and put them back up, so obviously, in this case, I guess I didn't know how to do it.